Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition. This is episode 31 with our guest, who I will just try and bring in here now. One moment. Okay, excuse me. So, welcome to Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition, episode 31, with our guest Lucia, who has joined the Future Food Institute on the digital bootcamp in July and in the in-person bootcamp in Polica just last month. So I'm going to bring Lucia, please. So again, just about these conversations, we take in our alumni from the food innovation programs. Oh, here she is. Hello, Lucia. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are you, Lucia?
I'm good. It's a little bit early in the morning. It's not my favorite time, but I'm
Yes,
okay.
yeah. Well, it will get us up nice and early for the rest of the day. So I was just saying here now to the guys that Lucia and myself met each other in the digital bootcamp in July, held by Future Food Institute, and we also were together in Polica last month for the in-person bootcamp. So how have you been since Polica, Lucia?
Oh, wow. Yeah, Polika was quite intense. I mean, 1 week of full of information, emotions, and everything. So usually I would say I need to rest for minimum 1 week, but my program at the University of Gastronomic Sciences started. And like the first thing we had was again a study trip through Tuscany and Liguria. It was we've been there 10 or 11 days, and we visited several producers, cheese farmers, olive oil producers, but also zero waste research institutes, a publisher, all around food. So it was all again quite intense, and honestly, I was a little bit overwhelmed after like boot camp and the study trip, but I survived.
Okay. Yeah. So, but the fun didn't quite stop for you in Polica, huh? You got to continue your journey with the Mediterranean diet.
Yes, somehow. Yeah, and it was also interesting because also in Liguria, I visited a fisherman, like in Polica.
Yeah.
And again, we talked about the fishing industry and the bureaucracy and what the government is doing. And basically, it was again the same issues that they have. Yeah, that the traditional fishermen, yeah, they have a lot of challenges to face it, and it's not easy for them to survive. But luckily, they are
Well,
always like very strong characters, and they believe in this what they're doing, so they continue it and keep going.
yes, that must have been interesting to see in the south of Italy compared to the north. The fishing was there any sort of like differences that were notable for you with that, even in like the technique or the style? Were they fishing similar catch?
No, I mean, like in Polica, with Vittorio at Cilentico's, I mean, there were this traditional fisher style, Manica it's called. So it's very something what you only can find now there. Um, but also the guy in Liguria told us that it's like from season to season, it's getting more difficult to fish because also the fish are losing their natural environment, and so and the big industries are yeah, are more and more present, and yeah, making the small fishermen a hard life. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly not getting any easier for them.
No.
And with that, I might ask you, Lucia. So originally, how did you become a food and climate shaper, and what was your introduction to the Future Food Institute?
Yeah, allora. Um, it was like so I'm currently enrolled in a master program at the so-called Slow Food University. But as we
Okay.
all know, there was a thing in spring called coronavirus, and this virus also stopped my program. And so I went back to Germany first, and because I live in Germany, and I did an internship on a farm, and it was great, and I had a really beautiful time. But of course, I missed also this learning experience to get to gather informations and to fill my head, my brain, and everything with knowledge about food systems, sustainability, and and everything else. So, and luckily I'm following the Future Food Institute already for a while. And I guess I saw a post on Instagram or on LinkedIn. I don't remember. And I was like, that sounds interesting. And it was June. So I didn't had any further plans for July and August. And I was really, really looking for something which I could focus on and get back on this, let's call it academia track. And and then I think I wrote an email to Julia. I
Yes.
think like 2 days before deadline, and then I was like, "Yeah, hi, I'm Lucia, and I'm interested in your program. Could you please provide me with some further information?" So, and Julia, as good as she is, immediately replied to me and gave me some information, and and then I jumped on this application process, and like 3-4 days later, I think I got the confirmation that I was selected to be part of it, and I am still super glad about this opportunity. It was an amazing 4 weeks. Even it was super intense, especially like in the end with the hackathon.
Yeah.
But I learned so much, and especially like from the other participants. So there was a really, really liked it about the program that it's very international. People coming all around the world, from India, South Africa, Uganda, and everywhere else, Brazil, Venezuela. And I think this is, for me, it's maybe the most attractive aspect of what appeals me most, to know other food systems, other way of thinking. And then, but in the end, it's also interesting to see that you can reduce it always on the same challenges they are facing. And no matter if they are in Asia or in Africa, it's basically very, very similar.
Yeah. There were an awful lot of really interesting insights, and as you say, I think the having people from different areas of the world bringing their own sort of cultural twist to the tale was really, really nice. And just sticking with the digital bootcamp for a second, how did you find it? With this sort of learning platform in an online setting. Um, for you, did it limit you, or was it okay? It was nice and flexible. What was your
Yeah,
how was that?
it was my first online learning program. And I was surprised how well it went, in terms of I didn't have the feeling that it's not personal, or that you don't get connected to the others. I think that the Future Food Institute did it quite well, because there were also on Friday, for instance, there were the social moments where we cooked,
Lucia,
and
you're
on Wednesday we
breaking
had
up a little bit.
Hmm?
I didn't quite catch that. Sorry. Okay, you're back now.
Okay. I think it helped also that during the program we had also some sessions like some social sessions like the cooking classes on Friday, or the reflection sessions on Wednesday, meditation sessions. So this was for me also a tool to bond a bit with the others, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, and I really liked it. Because that was also a way to learn each other better in a different way.
Yeah.
And also we did a lot of group works within the sessions. And so I mean, of course, I mean, and then in Polika, when we meet each other in person, of course, that's something different. And I think there's nothing who can replace an in-person learning experience. However, it worked very well, and of course it gives you also the chance to have international teachers, for instance. Yeah, like I mean, we had people from New York, from Japan, and so it also has a lot of benefits. If you are doing it online, it makes it easier to have access to this to these people.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it really unlimits it. And then you mentioned so then seeing people in person. Well, wasn't it fantastic to meet the same people that we had met in a setting like this in person?
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
so this is so crazy then to see each other in person, like, oh, it's you. And also we saw each other like several times on screen,
yeah.
but it changes totally when you see each other in person, and always in a better way. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, it was fantastic to sort of have the preview online of who we would be, learning with, and then to be in person. I really liked it. It was cool. So we will come back to the boot camps in just a moment. For now, I'm interested to know about your current studies. So you're currently in university in which city did you say again?
it's called Bra. It's in
Bra,
Italy, in Piemonte, in the northern part of Italy. It's like 40 kilometers away from Torino.
yes.
And it's a so-called Slow Food University, because Carlo Prugini, the founder of Slow Food, also gave birth to my university. And
But
yeah, and I'm enrolled there in a master program called Creativity, Ecology, and Education. And yes, we started 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I'm back here in Polenzo studying.
Well, that's great. And do you have any interesting insights to share with us from the program that you're doing there? So the trip that you had to Liguria, was that as part of your course there, or was that a
Yeah.
separate thing?
No, it's part. We will do 3 study trips, one in Italy, one in Europe, and one extra Europe. But due to COVID, it was not possible to do the outside Italy trips. We were supposed to go to Ecuador and in Spain, and so now we're doing it here in Italy. The first one was, as I said, Liguria and Tuscany, and yes, it was related to it. For instance, we visited a farmer who produces old grains, and like the first lesson we had when we came back was a bread class session where bread maker. We had like a bread baking class with him, so we could connect the dots with him. But also, like you in Polica, when we visited the fisherman, it was quite nice, and he showed us around, and he explained us how to put the anchovies into salt, and then he was explaining that it's also very important what kind of quality of salt, and he he said that this is a salt from Sicily, from close to Trapani. And
Very nice.
I was there at this salt. I would say in English. I don't know. In January during my first study trip, and also there are traditional salt producers. So that was quite nice to see how you connect the dots. You can connect the dots that traditional fishermen goes with traditional salt producing.
Yeah. It's really nice. While you were up in Genova, did you have a chance to make some nice pesto?
Yes, of course. We've been to the
Yeah,
king of pesto,
you did, yeah.
actually. Yeah. This is a guy, I don't remember the name of him, but of the restaurant, it's called Genovese.
Yeah.
And he's the one who organized the Pesto World Championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I didn't know there was a world championship
Me
for pesto.
neither.
Yeah. Yes. That's real nice. And so when you complete the university, what would you like to do? Are you going to maybe return to Germany? Are you going to stay in Italy? Are you going to go down to Sicily?
Ah,
What's your plan?
okay. I forgot to mention that I'm doing this program during my sabbatical. So I have
Okay.
already a job. My background is a market researcher and I work in a German broadcast company.
Okay. Well, please,
Yeah.
please tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working now for 15 years as a market researcher in the media industry. And like 2 or 3 years ago, like after 10, 15 years of working, I was like, maybe it's time to have a break for a longer period. And yes, and after contemplating a bit about it, I decided, okay, now or never. And yeah, and then I like from last year July on, my sabbatical started, and very last minute I decided to apply for the university. And yeah, and luckily I got accepted. So now I'm doing this study program, and then I also want to finish it. But I will go back to work from November on. So like for the last 2 months, I will do both, like working during day and in the afternoon then studying. And so like, and I do like my job. And so I will try then maybe to find like a freelancer job then in my free time. Then I can also focus a little bit on food and yeah. But like
Do,
my first plan when I'm coming back is continue my work and then see what happens.
And do you think that there are some new avenues you may go down now with your career, like an extra project or something, when you finish these studies with all the learnings from the boot camps and your current course?
Yeah. I mean, I already started to work with two initiatives or projects back in Munich.
Okay.
So the one is like wants to be the first food cooperative in Munich, and the other one is more an organization who wants to support to build a sustainable food system in Munich. And yes, so I think of course, I mean this year had on so many different layers a huge impact on my way of thinking, of my mindset. Now it's
Yeah.
in me and I can't shake it off. So and I will take it with me and trying to to have an impact on the society or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. And if we may just jump back to the boot camps for a moment. So the digital boot camp in July, and we had Paulica last month. Um, So, what were your main kind of takeaways? I mean, we've already kind of covered this, but if there was anything else that you learned from those experiences, that you still sort of take with you in your life, I mean, are you still friendly with some of the other
Yeah.
alumni and stuff like that? And any takeaways for us in particular?
Yeah, a lot. I really liked the session with Javi about the prosperity thinking. I
Yes.
think because it was the first time I've heard about it, and it's like that, like this evolution of thinking, like last was it like you have to put the human in the center of your decision, and now it's the planet. And I think that is like overdue that we change our way of thinking like this. And because when I when I hear the sentence, we have to save the planet, I always say, no, we don't have to save the planet. We have to save us, the human beings, because the planet itself doesn't need us, but we need the planet.
Yeah, yeah, you're so right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
So, and that's why I was really enlightened to her to hear that there's also a way of thinking which puts the planet in the center of all the decision, and I think that it's crucial for for all of us to think like this. From yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that for me was also very enlightening. The whole idea of the prosperity thinking, almost relieving in a sense to know that okay, great, there are some people are making models that we can actually, try and
Exactly.
solve some of these issues. It was a bit of a relief almost. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
So then, on to it, yeah, which is if you think about your ideal food future, so what does that look like for you? It's quite a broad question we ask everyone. So your just idealistic view of the future for with regards to food.
Oh, okay. um, I would wish that like people would start to ask themselves more often, where does our food comes from?
Hmm.
That they appreciate it more, and and that the sentence "no farm, no food" is in everyone's head, though that
Yeah.
it's like a claim that everyone has keeps in his mind when he's making decisions. And also, yes, that you vote with your wallet, and that is so important. Like and that, yeah, that it's also easier for people to make more consciousness, more sustainable decisions, that it's easier for them to get access to locally, seasonally, organic produced food. That would be awesome if this is possible.
Yes, yeah, and do you think that it's a matter of like if people were aware of, that buying locally, for example, does have a does have a big impact with regard in contrast to, just buying the cheapest stuff in the supermarket that's imported. Do you think that if people knew that, if they were to pay the little bit extra in some cases or whatever they need to do to get the local stuff, that it does have an impact? Do you think they would do it to the people who just don't really, quite know that little changes like that can have an impact on the overall
I hope
picture?
so. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, nowadays we live in a world like you get, I don't know, strawberries in January, pineapple all year, and what else? I mean, that is not our nature. That is not like our environment. And I think it is, yeah, I think it's very important that people learn learn again to appreciate the food, what is around there, because this happens for a reason, you know. So but nowadays, like, thanks to globalization, we are used to get everything every time, and I think this is not the right way, and I think we should make a turn.
Yes, for sure. I hope it will be easier, easy. I hope it will be easy to implement. Yeah, I mean it's because also, you know, it's a difficult one because what applies in some areas doesn't quite apply in others based on what is available in that area, you know. So I think for sure in any places where there is food locally produced, to be sure that the local community are eating that food, so that, you know, imports can go to places where perhaps they can't grow their food themselves. Yeah. But I'm really happy to be discussing issues like this with you on this early morning, and we're actually just about running out of time. So if there's anything else you would like to add, Lucia, about your current projects, or, you know, anything else, any other little insights for us from your trip or anything?
Yeah, maybe one thing what I also really liked, we had this we talked about that it's important about learning experience, that the best way to learn is to do something, and also not to be afraid to make mistakes and to fail. That's the best way to learn, and not following some recipes, instructions, and whatever. Be curious, be open-minded, and and just do it and learn about it.
Yes, and I find then, like, with the boot camps, for example, you know, when you sort of take the jump into a new learning experience, it can affect other areas of your life. Like, you'd be more motivated to do unrelated things with the sort of purpose of the boot camp and everything. Yeah, so I agree with you. That's beautiful. Thank you. And so, Lucia, thanks a million for joining us. You've been very generous with your morning here, and it was a very much a pleasure to speak with you again. And I hope to keep this chat open in the future. I'll just say to the guys here that that this was Food as a Conversation Alumni Edition, and this is edition number 31. We have a new digital bootcamp starting on the 30th of this month. So anybody who is interested in joining the ecosystem, please jump on and sign up. And the next Food as a Conversation is on Tuesday, the 13th of the Tuesday 13th of October at 6:30 p.m. and that's CET. So thank you again, Lucia. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks a million.
Talk to you soon.
You too. Thanks.
Ciao.
Bye bye.